Hey, beautiful. Okay, so I feel a lot of emotions in the air. Ooh. And we're gonna do an energy update. I wrote. I'm going to probably read because Mercury is about to station retrograde, and I can feel myself kind of shutting down. I can feel my energy kind of just right. So first, do not believe everything you feel this week. Okay. I will say that. I'll also preface with if you have any documents, any type of plan, any type of trip planned, or any type of like paperwork or things that you need brain power for, get them done by Friday because that is depleting heavy. We like Mercury is going to go retrograde on the 29th. There's going to be a full moon on the 29th, and Jupiter is going to switch signs on the 30th. And so there is some visibility and light coming back. The last time that Jupiter was in Leo was 12 years ago. So this week, it feels like an inhale before a major shift and pivot. The end of June is interesting because it's ending with a lot of bang, and as we shift into the month of July. And there's some other things that are happening this summer that let me know this is like it, right? We are on the bridge of the new. Whatever that first half of the year was, and like all of the residue and all of the conversations and old things coming up and all the things, this is the turning point for that. The moon is doing most of the storytelling because we're going to start out with the moon in Libra, and then it's going to move into Scorpio on Wednesday, and then Sag on Friday before the Capricorn Full Moon on the 29th. We are closing out June standing at a new threshold that we probably can't even fucking see clearly. Wonderful, right? So with the Libra Moon energy, this is inviting reflection through the lens of the other. Outward, what we're seeing, our experiences, our conversations, our interactions. Other people become mirrors. So something may be revealed back to you about your needs or your patterns or the way that you present information, or so pay attention to the reflection. Also pay attention to what you receive as feedback from others, because there's a reason why you're receiving that information. The moon is going to move into Scorpio, and then the emotional intensity is going to deepen. Old attachments, fears, disappointments, and desires may start to surface. And this is where, you have to decide, are you going to keep choosing what's familiar, or are you going to choose yourself? But there is going to be things that come up. Scorpio is very like intense inner world. And with all of these planets in Cancer, all of these planets, Jupiter, the Sun, and Mercury in Cancer, I just feel like heavy emotional week. By the time the moon moves into Sagittarius, there's going to be the opportunity to zoom out and see the bigger picture. You may be able to have like laugh and optimism, like, you know what, that shit is crazy. Like the way that this stuff is happening is crazy, because you're able to see or use wisdom or knowledge or like a different sort of perspective and lens to understand what is happening. But there could also be things that come up from a personal level of like, what have you been avoiding, or what future is calling you forward, or what belief do you need to change, or what, where do you need to grow, where do you need to add to yourself. There could be things like that that also come up as like a truth that you're able to tap into and see, because it's more from a lack of like that emotion. All these other energies and like these water signs, when the moon finally moves into Sag, you could feel some frustration with that, because the sun is in a water sign and the moon is in a fire sign. And so there could be this frustration of like, okay. On the 25th, Venus is going to trine Saturn in Aries. This is going to be commitment energy, commitment to yourself, commitment to your creativity, commitment to your joy, commitment to the things that make you feel alive. Saturn is helping you build. Saturn is also going, are you doing it the right way? Are you following the rules? Are you considering yourself in this as you're moving it forward? You know, yes, you want it to feel good and look good, but is it something that is sustainable? And on the 25th, the trine, which is really good energy, there could be this happiness like, oh, I know, right? I know that I'm building something worthwhile or something that is sustainable, but there's also going to be on the same day the sun in Cancer squaring Neptune in Aries. And this is a very foggy, emotional, discouraging energy. So you could, and I think that the way that it goes, Venus and Leo's energy or transit is going to happen at 8:02 a.m. And then the sun squaring Neptune is going to happen later in the evening. So on Thursday, there could be a flip of emotions, right? You could hear your mind trying to mind fuck you. Or you could feel like, dang, why all of a sudden do I don't feel good about what I'm doing? Just like watch a funny movie, go take a walk, hug a tree, play with your kids, do something to distract yourself, because again, we're not going to believe all of our emotions this week because some of them are in conversations in the sky that's provoking us things to come up. And I'm not saying to not lean into those things, but Mercury is about to go retrograde and we're going to have 3 or 4 weeks to revisit, right? All of this energy of like Cancer. And so while this square is happening with the sun in Cancer and Neptune in Aries, it's doubt that may be whispering about things being unrealistic or you cannot do that. And I want you to ignore that. I don't want you to lean into that. I don't want you to believe it because it's trying to keep you safe. But it's trying to keep you safe in a version of you that no longer exists. And your spirit is trying to pull you forward into this new version of you that does exist. And let me tell you something. It is the most uncomfortable experience. It's not good or bad. It's just inconsistent. And I'm a fixed sign. I'm a Gemini sun sign, but I have a lot of Leo in me. And so I don't like I have a Capricorn 6th house, right? I like things to be, the summer bothers me because I'm like, where's my routine and why are my kids, what are you doing? You know? So there's a lot of my energy. They're telling me to do a post on that separate. Okay, so I will. But it just doesn't feel good. So if you're not feeling good, I can sense that. And I would tell you just to get through this week, okay? Neptune is going to try to blur the path. But again, we're not going to let temporary emotions become the reason why we make permanent decisions. And then on June the 27th, Mars in Taurus is going to sextile Jupiter in Cancer, which may bring an opportunity for meaningful progress. It's going to be productive, expansive energy, but it's asking us to take action on what matters the most. And the blessings and things that may appear with a sextile, you have to take advantage of. So you may go, somebody may call and go, oh, I got this slot if you wanted to come and do readings. And you have to go, yes, of course, I want to come and do readings. Or they may go, oh, I have this podcast and I'd love for you to, join us. But if you're like, no, then you're missing the sextile because that is God going, hey, here's an opportunity. You should lean into that. So if anything comes this week around that feels good to you, that is in alignment with who you're supposed to be and who you feel like you are in this new version, then take advantage of that because it's here to support you. You have to choose it. You have to participate with the sextile. And then Mars is going to enter Gemini on the 28th, the very next day, bringing movement. Right now, Mars in Taurus is about the next logical step, the next practical thing, the next, practicality. But it's going to bring new ideas, new movement. Things will start to feel like they're moving faster, but your mind is now going to feel kind of sluggish because Mercury is retrograde. So just this week is preparation. This week is preparation for next week, where things are going to shift hard. The Capricorn Full Moon is going to arrive on the 29th asking you, what do you want to keep? What don't you want to keep? What are we doing? In an initiating way. Well, let's get that done. Well, let's do it this way. Well, let's do it that way. We can do this at least type of energy. And then Mercury retrograding the same day is more reflection, more review, more revisiting, more going back and seeing what we didn't pick up the first time for reconsideration or moving things around. And then Jupiter entering Leo on June the 30th, bringing a brand new 12-year cycle centered around visibility, creativity, leadership, and self-expression. But the emotional weight that you're feeling this week is showing up to show you what cannot go into the new reality. And sometimes those things are so deep. Like sometimes the fears, like money fears, money, I feel a lot of money stuff coming up. I feel a lot of resource stuff. I feel a lot of relationship of like feeling alone and the friends and like partners. And, I want to cry. I wanted to cry all morning. But just remember, this week is about a relationship with yourself, because the more that you form the relationship with yourself, the easier it is for you to fall into alignment with things that are right for you. And I think for so long, we've just been told to get into situations or to get a job because we need to pay bills, or to, get into a marriage or a relationship because two incomes are better than one. So then you allow certain things, or friendships where it's like so that you don't feel alone. I just feel like those things are being stripped away from us. But not only are they happening in the physical sense, they're happening from a mental and subconscious perspective as well, and trying to disconnect the root of it. And that does not feel good, okay? But I know that it is for your good. So if you also want to cry today, cry. If you need to take it easy today or this week, just take it easy. But know that God is always working for you, like always. And I can sense this, like, not doubt in that, but just like maybe the reassurance of needing to hear and know that. God is wanting you to know that. Like, God is wanting you to know that they are working for you always, 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 always. Okay? Okay.